Imagine this scenario. Your neighbor is on the brink of retirement with a staggering $8 million in savings. Naturally, you assume he must be a doctor, or a high paid lawyer, or perhaps a CEO of a small Fortune 500 company. He must have a big mansion with multiple sports cars, luxury watches, and designer clothes, and a bed full of models. But to your surprise, he spent his entire career as a janitor, and not only that, but he never even owned a fancy sports car or any luxury items. You're probably thinking, how is this possible? Did he win the lottery? Inherit a fortune? Complete a Mr. Beast challenge? The truth is far simpler and more inspiring. What he achieved, anyone can aspire to. This is the incredible story of Ronald Reed, the janitor who defied all odds to become a millionaire. Ronald Reed was an ordinary, well, almost ordinary, janitor living in Vermont, USA, who unfortunately passed away in 2014. Many people from the outside looking in may have just assumed that he was a regular janitor who cleaned up after others' mess, but all are shocked to discover that he actually had an estate worth over $8 million. We didn't have the fancy education most people had. In fact, his highest level of education ended at high school. So how did he do it? He started his janitorial career at a local JCPenney department store. This may have seemed mundane, but he has a secret passion for investing. Every day during his lunch breaks, he would go to the local library to read up on financial publications and stock reports. Armed with this knowledge, he began investing into companies like Wells Fargo, Procter & Gamble, and American Express. This investing approach is what set him apart from many others who invest in the stock market. Ronald was a patient man. He may not have had the highest salary or most amount of money to invest, but he knew he had time on his side, and for that reason, he chose a strategy that prioritized long-term investing in blue-chip companies that are diversified amongst many different industries. A blue chip company is a company that is very big and well known. They are usually considered safe investments as the company is a very large corporation that is a leader in their industry, sells high quality products, has strong brand names, and is known for their ability to generate wealth over the long term. These companies have a track record of decent growth and good future prospects. Think of companies like Coca-Cola. Everyone knows it. They have been huge for a long time. They pay quarterly dividends, and they will probably be huge in the future. People who want to invest in blue chip companies tend to prefer reliable, stable, long term investing. And the second key to his strategy is diversified investing. Diversified investing is when instead of investing everything into one company, you invest into a multitude of companies in the same industry or maybe even in different industries and sometimes even different countries. The purpose of diversifying is to be protected in case one company performs worse. If you own $100 in one company but the company does poorly, you could be down $50. However, if you diversify your investment across different companies, let's say instead of $100 in one company, you have $50 in two different companies. One gets halved like before, and the other doubles. Then you will be at $125. So even though one of your companies went under, you still have more money because the other investment did better. There's a famous quote by Warren Buffett that you should not put all your eggs in one basket. If you drop that basket, all your eggs crack. And with that, Ronald Reed invested in big blue chip companies like Wells Fargo, Colgate, Johnson & Johnson, Procter & Gamble, American Express, Raytheon, etc. Companies that occupy and lead different industries in the economy. And all that is great, but don't you need a lot of money in the first place to invest? Where is he getting the money to invest if he was a janitor his whole life and never made more than minimum wage? And that is what leads to the heart of his strategy, frugal living. Frugality isn't just hoarding money under your mattress for an apocalypse. Frugal living is all about living below your means. If you make $50,000 a year, then there is no need to spend all $50,000 of it. You live life like you make $40,000 and invest the difference. Despite Reed's wealth accumulating, he never let the money dictate that he should be living an unsustainable lifestyle. He was always frugal, saving what he could from his paycheck to invest. Even when his fortune started to pass the millions, he never chased the Joneses. Many people, when they start having as much money as Reed did, they may not be able to control themselves. They tend to have a little bit of what we call lifestyle inflation. Lifestyle inflation is when you make more money, so you spend more money. If you keep doing that, you will never have delta to invest, which is why frugal living and living below your means is super important when it comes to building the fortune that Reed did. Reed's story is the closest thing you can get to the American dream nowadays. What he did is a common method you see a typical millionaire do. Not all millionaires are corporate CEOs or world-renowned surgeons or anything fancy like that. Instead, many of them are engineers, teachers, plumbers, accountants, and just regular everyday people that you may not even assume is a millionaire. What they do is they live below their means, they save their money and invest the difference. Reed donated $1.2 million to his local library and $4.8 million to his local hospital. I think his story should inspire everyone, because if he can do it on a janitor salary, then everyone should be able to do it. To understand fully why, let's look at another man who had the exact opposite story as Reed. Richard Fuscone was a former vice chairman of Merrill Lynch. He obtained an MBA at the University of Chicago and Harvard Business School. He owned a massive $32 million castle in Greenwich, Connecticut that was 18,000 square feet with 2 elevators, 2 swimming pools, 7 garages, and many other features you would expect from a castle like that. After leaving his career in finance, he wanted to pursue other ventures, and that's when life struck him. Fuscone had gone bankrupt when the 2008 financial crisis hit, and this $66,000 a month for his mortgage were unsustainable, so he was forced to sell his home. 2 different people with completely divergent paths in life. One had all the education, experience, resources, and background in the world, while the other walked 4 miles every day just to be the first person in his family to graduate high school. Yet, the businessman with the mansion went bankrupt, while the janitor left an $8 million fortune for his family and community. How did this happen? Why is it so backwards? You would think it would be the other way around. While in Morgan Housel's Psychology of Money, he discusses how finance is taught as laws and theory instead of what it actually is, emotions and behavior. We can discuss all we want about living frugally and saving for retirement, but when it comes down to it, all that matters is whether or not we do it. This is what makes personal finance a field where a novice can outperform the expert. We can learn many things from Reed and Fuscone's story. For starters, living below your means will always be crucial, not only for your finances but your peace of mind. Secondly, consistent and sustainable effort will always beat out living large. But most importantly, it doesn't matter where you started or when you started, just that you started. We all have different beginnings and circumstances we're born into that do not define us, but the decisions we make along the way is who we are.